The Italian referendum will be known as a result by the time that we get to the very end of Sunday evening, and it's widely expected, that it will be a no vote. You can trade this on the IG platform during Sunday, and expected to be in amongst the most traded aspects of this will be on the DAX that IG covers. So let's go now to Mike Ingram from BGC Partners, who joins us with some more analysis on this. Looking towards Sunday evening when we get that expected result, possibly as a no, as I said, as many are now suggesting. What is the likely market fallout from that sort of no vote?
I think you'll mostly see it on the euro, actually. I mean, the obvious trade would be to go out and say, well, we're just going to go short Italian bonds. We're going to see that spread between Italian bonds and bunds, for instance, blow out. But of course, you do have the backstop of the ECB's quantitative easing program to help mitigate any kind of fallout there. But what it would be consistent with is a broader theme of disintegration, shall we say political disintegration, perhaps catalysed by the UK referendum result in June, followed by an expected no vote in Italy, and then of course you've got French and German presidential elections next year, which again would say, well, hang on, Europe's not looking in good shape. And then of course fundamentally you've got a booming dollar, a Fed rate hike almost certainly be put in place in 2 weeks' time, reflationary policies courtesy of President Trump, and on the flip side of that, probably an extension of the ECB QE program, which I just mentioned, from March onwards in 2017. So you've got finally got this divergence in policy. And I think you'll see that quite visibly in the euro-dollar cross. Okay,
euro-dollar at the moment is 106, just after the beginning of trade on Thursday morning on the markets. What's the risk here to this? Is there much risk on a yes vote? If the yes vote does come through, does get the support, the markets, are they pricing in a no?
Yeah, largely because before the moratorium on polls came through, the no camp was signalled 4 to 10 points ahead. There was still something like 1 in 4 Italian voters undecided. I suppose the surprise I cheekily suggest was if the pollsters got it right this time around. I would stress, however, no matter which way it goes, this isn't a referendum on the euro. It's not a referendum on Italy's membership of the European Union. This is really about constitutional reform, stripping most of the powers away from the Senate. It's one of the reasons, for instance, why the no vote is expected to succeed is because the Italians, with their history, Mussolini, I'd have to say, don't like this, what is seen to be a power grab, this centralisation of power, and that's why they feel that it's not something that they want to follow. I would say that if the Five-Star movement actually managed to gain control of the government, and of course Renzi's indicated previously that he would probably resign and leave politics if he loses this referendum on Sunday. Ironically, some of the institutional administrative rigidity which Renzi wants to get away with would then actually work against Five Star's favour, because the Italian constitution doesn't allow a party to hold a referendum on an international treaty. Membership of the Eurozone, membership of the European Union for Italy is an international treaty. So the Five-Star movement would actually have to have a referendum in order to change the constitution, in order to move to a sort of Italexit scenario. So there would be a number of hurdles to get over to negotiate before we get to that point. I'm not to say that there wouldn't be a reflexive sell-off in Europe if we did indeed realise a no vote, but to a large extent, that's where the polls have been pointing anyway, unlike the UK referendum, unlike the Trump presidency, and to getting Italy from that no vote to being out of the Eurozone is not straightforward.
Yeah, so Monday, volatile day, or if it goes to no, is it going to be a calm day? I mean, is it going to be a business as usual if that's what we're pricing in?
I suspect, depending, of course, on what politicians say immediately after. Of course, if Renzi say, well, I'm leaving tomorrow, then I think the adverse reaction would be greater. I think it's fair to say that we will probably get an adverse reaction, at least on the open next week. But, we've seen, actually, even in the run-up to this, some fairly whippy markets. We've often said, oh, this is a down day, we've ended up, it's an up day, we've ended down, and so forth. So, as I said, on the basis that this is not if you like, a Lehman moment for Italy, and you've got that ECB backstop in bond markets, I think that the market reaction is actually going to be quite contained.
Right. Okay. All right, Mike. Thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Pleasure.
Mike Ingram from BGC Partners, ahead of the Italian referendum, which is due to be held on Sunday, and expectations are that we will get some sort of result or an indication of the result pretty much as soon as the polls close, and then we'll get the firm confirmation that sometime very early on Monday morning.